Welcome to the College Hockey South YouTube channel, and welcome to the CHS draft for the All-Star Challenge. Hi, everybody. I'm Gabe Glassman alongside Tyler Moss. And Tyler, it is a very special day. We are announcing the CHS rosters for the first ever AAU College Hockey All-Star Challenge. It's a brand new event. It's a brand new thing. Tyler, what do you like about it?
Gabe, it's a really important event for the growth of college hockey in the South. All year, we've seen just these amazing talents from many different teams at the CHS level play their hearts out. And finally, we're going to see all of the best talent combined for what's going to be a fantastic event, Gabe. Very excited for it myself.
So many players, over 40 players from College Hockey South going down to Fort Lauderdale to play at the Panthers Ice Den on April 12th through the 14th. And joining us to announce the rosters is a very special guest, newly re-elected Commissioner Kyle Knell. Kyle, welcome to the show. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, thanks guys for having me.
Of course, Kyle, as I mentioned before, it's College Hockey South sending over 40 players down to Fort Lauderdale, and CHS, they're not just getting one team, they're getting two teams, a white and a gray team. Does that kind of speak to how this year has gone for CHS?
Yeah, it's of course this event's super exciting. Everyone's looking forward to it. Obviously, when it was announced, I had plenty of players reaching out saying they wanted to be involved in it and be part of the teams. And so, while this is the first one, I think it's to Tyler's point, step in the right direction, and something hopefully we can build on each year. We are sending two teams. Each of the conferences were invited to send an all-star team due to some logistical challenges for one of the other conferences within AAU college hockey. They weren't able to send a team. So we're asked to send not just one, but two, obviously, since the all-star challenge is happening in our backyard. So yeah, we will have a white team. Each of the teams or a white team and a gray team. They will have custom jerseys, socks, and shells. So super excited to be able to reveal those and the rosters.
Well, let's get right to it with those rosters. Kyle will send it over to you.
Perfect. So what we will do here is we're going to go down the line for each team and announce player by player, starting with the white team. So the players will be announced in alphabetical order. We'll also announce the coaches at the end of each team that are going to be helping represent the conference. Each of these players were selected based on how they did this year, and of course, starting from our all-conference teams, and then outside the all-conference teams, we selected a few players additionally as well. So, starting with the white team, to kick us off, the captain from the University of Tampa, Ryan Andrews.
Oh, captain, my captain, indeed. What a year it has been for the champion Tampa Spartans, but what a year it's been for the captain of that team, Ryan Andrews. He has 31 points on the year, and he was chosen to be on that all-conference first team for Division I. I don't think anyone is more deserving of to get that all-star bid than him.
Up next for the white team, from Florida Atlantic University, Rocco Bruno.
Yeah, so Rocco Bruno's a phenomenal young goaltender in the league, and we're going to be seeing a lot of him in the next few years. Allowed 2 goals per game on average with a .933 save percentage. Rocco Bruno not only led a phenomenal FAU squad to the #1 seed for D2, but also was the starting goalie for the Battle at the Beach champion FAU Owls as well. So excited to have Rocco in net for FAU and the white team.
And Rocco was also the goalie of the year for D2. Up next from the University of Tampa's D2 team, Trace Coward.
I love everything about Trace Coward. You always love when a defenseman has over 10 goals in the season. He joins his all-conference first team teammate Rocco Bruno, as he was also elected to be part of that team. But I think Trace Coward is going to be a big help on defense for the white team.
Up next from Auburn University, Callan Daly.
Yeah, so Callan led the D1 in points this season, had 17 goals out of Auburn. Phenomenal player on the wing. Really excited to have him a part of the squad here.
Up next From the University of South Carolina, Brendan Flaherty.
We get Brandon Flaherty from the South Carolina Gamecocks, and man, Flaherty is one of those players that's been a little overlooked because of all the talent in that Division One. He gets all conference second team, decent stats on the year, but you know, all conference second team, that'll get you in. He's played a great year. Everybody in the Division One has had a great year, but Flaherty joins white team.
Up next on the white team, from the University of Tennessee, Connor Frazier.
Yeah, so Connor Frazier is a high offensive dynamo out of Tennessee. Was really their main driver for all offense. Landed himself on the D2 all-conference first team. Well-deserving for the centerman out of Tennessee. 21 goals this year.
Up next, from the University of Georgia, Jack Gannon.
And when you see Gannon, when I think of Gannon, I think apple tree. He has 19 apples assists under his belt this season. Got a bid to the D1 All Conference third team. We saw his steals in Savannah for when the Georgia Bulldogs took home their 10th Savannah Classic champion. And now Gannon's going to get a shot to go to Fort Lauderdale and compete in this All-Star Challenge.
Up next, from the University of Tampa, Daniel Griffin.
Yeah, so Daniel Griffin is already being campaigned to be the captain of the power play from defense for the University of Tampa for this white team. First team, all conference at the D1 level, offensive defenseman, 13 goals, 18 assists, puts up points.
Up next, our first Division III player on the white team, Reese Gulata from Alabama.
We are starting off big in Division III. It's Reese Gulata. We saw everything from him this year. Deserves the D3 All-Conference first-team bid, 25 goals, 17 assists. He is electric when he hits the ice, and we saw that in Lakeland this past weekend, but you're definitely going to see a lot more of him in Fort Lauderdale.
Up next, from Florida Atlantic University, David Israel.
Yeah, so David's one of those players that can quite literally do it all. His big size, big frame is going to be a pain for other teams to deal with at this All-Star Challenge. 17 goals, 27 assists, a main offensive pusher, another guy that was a part of what was a dominant FAU team all season.
Up next, from Florida Southern College, Will Marshall.
I mean, what hasn't Will Marshall done this season? 70 points in 20 games. He's the MVP for Division III, all-conference first team. He leads Division III in points, goals, and assists. That's all of CHS, by the way. Will Marshall is that guy for College Hockey South, and I think we're going to see a lot of him when he's repping the white team.
Up next, from the University of South Carolina, Tommy Marvin.
Yeah, Tommy's another first-team all-conference from the D1 division. Just another really high-impact defenseman that can do it on both ways. Really good two-way defenseman. Tommy Marvin, 6 goals, 18 assists. Just a really stellar year from the kid out of South Carolina.
From the University of Georgia, Josh Massaros.
Another Georgia Bulldog coming in for the white team. What a season it was for Massaros. He earned all-conference second team in Division I, and he's another one of those Bulldogs that, fought all year. Has, 33 points on the season. He's definitely going to be someone you want to watch for repping the white team.
From the University of Tampa, in net, Kyle Meyer.
Yeah, so Kyle may have been a little bit slept on, although the conference did not see that at all, placing him on the second team for D1. With an offense like that at Tampa, you still need a really good netminder, guarding the post, and Kyle was phenomenal at that. 1.71 goals allowed per game and 930. Just beautiful in net for Tampa this year.
From Florida Atlantic University, Caleb Owens.
And we've seen Caleb Owens all year at Battle at the Beach, but he also has 46 points on this season too for the dominant at Florida Atlantic Owls. They were great all year, just came short of that Division II championship, but a lot of their success is credited to Owens.
From Auburn University, Caleb Patillo.
Yeah, Caleb's another defenseman that does a very good job in his own zone, and then does a pretty decent job pushing for offense as well. Had 8 goals from the blue line this year. Another first-team all-conference from the D1 division.
From the University of Tampa, Jacob Penetrante.
It's a fourth Division I Spartan Cup joining the white team, and Penetrante joins a lot of other players, and what a great season it was for that Tampa Division I team. He may only be second team all conference, but do not overlook Penetrante when it comes in about a month and a half.
From Vanderbilt University, in net, Andrew Shearson.
So I got to see Andrew Shearson very up close calling games in Huntsville for the D2 tournament. Andrew Shearson's a very, very good goalie. While he does hold a 3.3 GAA, he is a guy who faces a lot of shots and keeps very composed in net. A 920 for save percentage, D2 All-Conference Team 2.
From the University of Tampa, Cole Valise.
It's a fifth Tampa D1 Spartan joining this white team, and that speaks a lot to how their season went. But Valise joins this white team. May not have the most points, but he did get that all-conference first team bid, and he's going to close out. I believe he's going to close out our Division I first teams for this All-Star draft. But man, it's another Spartan joining the All-Star Challenge.
From the University of Alabama, Huntsville, Keaton Watts.
Yeah, so Keaton Watts is the offensive driver for UAH, along with his brother and line mates. Keaton Watts was a major factor for why UAH was able to really turn around and have a really good season this past year. Saw him live in Huntsville, just a phenomenal player offensively, really hard to stop from a defensive end. Had 20 goals this year, found himself on the D2 All-Conference first team.
From Florida Atlantic University, our Division II MVP, Matthias Weir.
I love everything about Matthias Weir. Shorter in frame, only 5'9" and just about 160 pounds. But Matthias Weir has all the speed you need, and the Division II MVP is going to be flying all over the Panthers ice stand. He led Division II in points as well, along with getting that all-conference first team bid.
Rounding out our white team, from Florida Southern College, Michael Wohl.
Yeah, so Michael Wohl, along with his offensive prowess of 25 goals and 25 assists, this is a big body. You're going to need the physicality in this kind of tournament. And Michael Wohl is definitely going to be the provider of that D3 first team, the second Florida Southern player on our white team.
While this does round out the roster for the white team, before we announce the coaches, we do have a couple honorable mentions. They were selected to join the white team for the All-Star Challenge, but due to conflicts and other plans, they weren't able to make it. So first one is from the University of Alabama, Max Savaloya, and also from the University of South Carolina, our Division I Goalie of the Year, Tyler Tamoya. To get to the coaches for the white team, from the University of Alabama, our Division I Coach of the Year, Craig Drevny, and from Florida Atlantic University, our Division II Coach of the Year, Christian Long. That rounds out our first team that we're announcing today, which is our white team. We will move now into the gray team. Up first, from Eastern Kentucky University, Logan Boatwright.
And while EKU may have had, not the best season in the world, didn't make that Division III tournament, Logan Boatwright was all over the ice for EKU, 31 points, and he earns that Division III All-Conference third team. So, EKU may be overlooked, but do not overlook Logan Boatwright.
From the University of Florida, Matthew Burkle-Jasek.
Yeah, so Matthew Burkle-Jasek is a really, really solid defenseman who knows how to maintain his own zone and keep things away from the goaltender, but also can push for offense as well. A lot of these defensemen in this tournament are going to have to be able to do it both ways, and Matthew Burkle-Jasek is one of those players. D2 All-Conference third team, had 14 apples this year.
From the University of Alabama, Huntsville, our first netminder, Cameron Crawford.
The first goaltender for the gray team. He is a little smaller, only at 5'11", but the stats don't even think about that. He does have closer to 4 goals against average, but his save percentage over 900, .900, where you kind of want to be. Division II All-Conference third team. Cameron Crawford for Alabama Huntsville has been great in that for them. So definitely a great addition for the gray team.
From Florida Southern College, our second goalie for the gray team, Jason Cribbs.
Yeah, so Jason Cribbs is going to be very excited to know that he has backup and other goaltenders around him, as he is the only goaltender on the Florida Southern roster, as we had picked up this past weekend in Lakeland for the D3 tournament. Although he has a relatively high GAA of a 315, you got to remember the D3 division is a division that sees a ton of offense. So that is very, very great for Jason Cribbs in net. He's also going to be wrapping up as the D3 All-Conference second-team goalie.
From the University of Alabama, Dylan Drevny.
And while Drevny doesn't get on the score sheet a lot of the time, you definitely had to look out for him when he's on the ice at defense. A 6'3" build, almost 190 pounds. This guy is huge, and he's able to defend like it's nobody's business. A massive addition for the gray team.
From the University of Miami, Thomas Ferry II.
Yeah, so Thomas Ferry is one of those guys who finds ways to hide in pockets on the ice and attacks very strongly on offense when he gets his chances. A guy with 23 goals. We saw him this past weekend in Huntsville. He absolutely capitalized on defense that find a way to lose him in the offensive zone. He's a D3 All-Conference second-team player.
From Florida Southern College, Noah Gabrilik.
Noah Gabrilik, a Florida Southern Mock, joining this great team. We saw him this past weekend in Lakeland, and I love everything about Noah Gabrilik. He's smaller, but he's ferocious. He's fast. He's powerful. Everything about his play screams all-star challenge. And hey, he's able to help. He's able to help out for the Mocks as well. Division III All-Conference third team. I feel like he deserves a little bit more, but hey, you're going to see a lot of him on the great team in Fort Lauderdale.
From the University of Florida, Noah Horwitz.
Yeah, so Noah Horwitz is a power play leader for the University of Florida, along with Matthew Berkeley-Jasek, as they too rotate for the power play. This is an offensive defenseman who finds a way to get shots on net with 6 goals this year. Also does a great job at maintaining his own zone. Florida had a very potent defense, very hard to get through. Noah Horwitz was a big part of that. It was a D2 All-Conference third-team player.
From the University of Alabama, Matthew Kushkarian.
While not the guy that get on the score sheet a lot and not the biggest guy on ice, he has a really good strategy when it comes to defense, and it's another defenseman for this great team that I think is going to come in clutch for them.
From the University of Florida, Keegan Lampinen.
So Keegan Lampinen might be my favorite for MVP of this roster. I love his game, 16 goals, 13 assists. But more importantly, this is a guy who does phenomenal work with the puck on his stick. He finds open man. He always is right in front of the net, makes ways to find offense for his team. He's a D2 All-Conference second-team player. But when he gets going, Keegan Lampinen is a dangerous player to stop.
From the University of Miami, Max Mensimer.
And it's our second Miami D3 champion, joining Thomas Ferry on the great team, D3 All-Conference second team, and it's a great year for the defenseman. 27 points on the year, 18 of them being assists. He has a great defensive strategy. He's able to use his body very well when he's checking, uses the boards and all that physicality. When it comes to D3, it's all about physicality. You're going to see a lot of that and more for him on the great team.
From the University of Alabama, John Owen.
So another player that does it all on defense. Alabama's D3 John Owen does a great job at being everywhere at once for his team on the blue line. Had 23 assists, so he finds ways to get to the open men on the ice. Just does a phenomenal job maintaining the defensive zone for Alabama, but also does a great job pushing for offense. He is another player on the D3 All-Conference first team.
From Kennesaw State University, Adrian Pape.
I'm seeing a trend here with this great team, and it's great. And the one thing I'm seeing as a trend, it's great defenseman, and Adrian Pape now joins that. He's 6'4", guys. He is a giant on the ice. He's able to use all 6'4" of himself into his hits. He makes his presence known, and I cannot wait to see him at the Panthers ice stand in a month and a half.
From the University of Alabama, Nick Reiniger.
Yeah, so Nick is the second Alabama D1 defenseman joining this roster. Not a lot on the score sheet, 4 goals, 10 assists, but very, very sound defenseman for the University of Alabama, and their top team was a D1 All-Conference third-team player.
From the University of Tennessee, Kenneth Richter III.
It's another Division II Ice Bowl joining the team, another champion joining this All-Star Challenge. And guys, he has been able to get on the score sheet a lot. 23 assists on the year, the Division II All-Conference second team. And while only 6'1", he's still able to get the puck in, keep it deep, and get a lot of passes to the net to score goals for his team. And he's a huge part of that championship-winning Tennessee Ice Bowl team.
From Florida Tech, Stephen Rossi.
So Stephen Rossi is another player that can do it all for his team, was a key to Florida Tech's success this year with 22 goals and 12 assists. Finds himself on the D3 All-Conference second team. Stephen Rossi was an impact player all year for Florida Tech, was a key reason for them finding success at the D3 tournament in Lakeland.
From the University of Miami, our Division III championship MVP, Matthew Schneider.
And yes, while he was Division III tournament MVP, man, what a year it has been for Matthew Schneider. 45 points in a year. He could play center or left wing, a little bit of a hybrid mix. But Schneider was all over the ice in Lakeland. He's been all over the ice for the Canes in 2023-24, and he's going to be all over the ice at the All-Star Challenge.
From Eastern Kentucky University, Santo Scalia.
Yeah, so Santo joins Logan Boatwright as the two Eastern Kentucky players on this roster. Both are guys who drove offense for the team up in Kentucky. Had himself a year with 18 goals and 20 assists. Finds himself on the D3 All-Conference second team.
From the University of Miami, Sam Stone.
It is another Division III Miami Hurricane joining the great team, and this time it's Sam Stone. He's going to be joining his defensive pairing with Max Mensimer on this team, depending the coach, but he'll still be on the team with them. What a year it's been for Sam Stone as well. About 22 points, all-conference second team. Not a lot to show on the score sheet, but still enough, and it's still a great player either way. He's going to be joining the great team.
Our final goalie for the great team, from the University of Alabama, Tyler Terranova, our D3 goalie of the year.
Yeah, so Tyler Terranova joins Jason Cribbs and Cameron Crawford as the netminders for our great team here. Another goalie with just a stellar year, 2.98 goals allowed per game, had a 9.24 save percentage, and as Kyle mentioned, was the D3 goalie of the year, finds himself on the first team for the D3 All-Conference team.
Rounding out our final player for the great team, from Middle Tennessee State, Donovan Yesnich.
And while MTSU didn't have the greatest year ever, Yesnach still had a very good year. The center for Middle Tennessee State, he had 35 points, and he gets that Division II All-Conference second team bid, making him a great pick to round out the great team for College Hockey South.
To announce the coaches for the great team, from Florida Southern College, our D3 Coach of the Year, Jill Richard. And introducing the final coach for our All-Star Challenge from the University of Tampa women's team, Lee Zerfus. And with that, we have selected our All-Star Challenge teams for the white and for the gray. Gentlemen, I'll kick it to you.
All right, now you can take one final look at these rosters right here. You see it on your screen, the graphic. Wow, what a team. These teams are incredible, Tyler. What do you think about them?
Yeah, I mean, I think just beautiful up and down the roster. We see a lot of different teams represented here, which is just a testament for how strong this conference really has been and has developed into. Teams from D2, D3, and D1 all fully represented. Goalies across the board, forwards across the board. There's representation here. And again, just shows how strong this conference really is.
And I'm loving how much representation there is from Division III. It definitely helps to have another team to get more eyes on College Hockey South. But looking at this team, I'm seeing an equal balance between all three divisions, and it's great. We see a lot of champions, a lot of players that are looking to get a little bit of a win under their belt before going into the offseason or ending their college careers. But I mean, all these players deserve to be in the All-Star Challenge. Just looking at their stats alone, not even including their all-conference bids, but man, what a season it has been for all of them. Well, that does it for the rosters. But before we go, Kyle, I have to know, I'm a Jersey guy. I need to know, can you leak a little something about these jerseys, man? We have a white team. We have a great team. What can you tell us? Please give us some info.
Yep. Yeah, as I mentioned before, we're going to have custom jerseys for each of these teams, and Verbero is going to be doing the jerseys for all 6 teams. We've been kind of given the freedom to kind of create something unique to represent our conference, and I will tell you, of course, having this many different teams, one of the things I said needed to be a must when we were designing these jerseys was something small to represent each team. And so while that kind of makes it a little bit different, a little unique, because we have quite a few teams represented across both of these, both the gray and the white team. You'll see a little flair from each of the teams, and of course, you'll have some flair from our conference as well. So we do have our nice conference map that you may see on the jersey. But yeah, we're looking forward to it, and I think the jerseys turned out really nice, and excited to reveal them coming soon.
Oh man, I'm looking forward to that reveal. I'm loving everything I'm hearing. I'm loving everything about the show. And unfortunately, we do have to end it there. Thank you so much for watching the College Hockey South YouTube channel. This has been your College Hockey South AAU College Hockey All-Star Challenge Team Draft. What a show it's been. Kyle, thank you for joining us. For Tyler Moss, I'm Gabe Glassman. We will see you on April 12th through the 14th for the AAU College Hockey All-Star Challenge.